loves! Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't noticed, on my social media I started saying loves a lot more. I just think it's so like warm and loving. Get it? I hope you people are having an amazing week. I am actually packing because I am headed to LA tomorrow and I'm very excited because I haven't been there in about a month. Also, I put my lights in different spots today and I really like it, so comment down below if you like this new lighting better. I'm really digging it. And I did my makeup differently today and I really love it, so there's just a whole lot of change happening and I like it a lot. Before we get to the video, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on those post notifications so you know when I'm posting. I think you guys are really going to like today's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today I'm going to be filming 10 unknown dance moms facts. I don't film a lot of things on my channel or even talk about dance moms a lot. I don't want anyone to think I'm not grateful for that opportunity and experience. I am incredibly grateful for it. However, it was a really hard time for me on this show. Definitely the hardest thing I've ever been through. So I don't really talk about it a lot. And yesterday I was filming a video with my sister actually about dance moms, so if you guys want to check it out, I'll link it down below. It's so funny and I think you guys will like it, and she's the cutest, so you should subscribe to her channel. But anyway, we were filming it and it gave me the idea to film this video because I'm pretty sure you guys don't know these facts, because I sat in my kitchen this morning for a long time with my mom coming up with these facts and it took me a while to remember them, so I don't think you guys will know them, but I guess we could just get started. Fact number 1. The first episode of Dance Moms wasn't actually supposed to be what it ended up being. And let me clarify that. I actually didn't know this until this morning when my mom was explaining this, but she told me that the first episode was supposed to start out with us in Phoenix, Arizona, and that was supposed to be like the opening shot of us walking into the competition and competing. Party 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 was just supposed to be like an opening number for the show. It wasn't really supposed to be like a focus for the week. And then it was supposed to go on to us getting ready for the next week, and then Electricity was actually supposed to be the first dance, like the first big dance. However, if you've ever watched Dance Moms, which I assume you have if you're watching this video, my mom and my former dance teacher got into a huge fight. Actually, let me rewind. Got into a little tiny baby fight if we're talking Dance Mom scale. The producers and the show, they loved it and they decided to kind of like build off of it. So we went back and everything that happened in the episode before the competition was actually filmed the week after the competition. We kind of did it in reverse because nobody knew that that fight was going to happen and they decided to build off of it, which actually I give them props because that created a good storyline for that week and it kind of gave them an idea of how they wanted every week to look. That's an unknown fact, I'm pretty sure, because I didn't know that until my mom reminded me this morning. Fact number 2. In the first season, Pyramid, or Chalkboard rather, because that's what it started out as, was only about 20-30 minutes max. And no, we never did Pyramid before the show. That's a question I get asked all the time. Was Pyramid a thing? No, it wasn't. It's not a normal thing to do. Let's rank children and tell them how terrible they are, and then the one child at the top we're gonna, you know, give them compliments. Ugh, it's so healthy. The first season was Chalkboard and it took about 20-30 minutes. And then when Pyramid started, that took about, I want to say on average, 2 hours to film. 2 hours. Talking about it doesn't sound like it's that long, but imagine standing there for 2 hours listening to your dance teacher talk, and most of the time she's telling 5 out of 6 children how horrible they are, and you're just like, oh my god, I don't want to listen to this any longer. And then you have to use the restroom. People just start getting annoyed, so then fights start breaking out naturally because people are just irritated. It just took 4 flipping ever. Even thinking about it now just makes me stressed out because my former dance teacher would yell at all of us if we were standing a certain way. So we couldn't stand with our hands in front of our bodies. They had to be behind our bodies because otherwise it looked like we wet ourselves. We had to stand in like 1st or 5th position or with like our foot beveled or something. We couldn't stand just like parallel because it looked, I don't even know. Fact number 3. It's not really a fact, but more of, I'll just tell you what our schedule looked like every week. Literally talking about this makes me exhausted. So on Mondays, we had the day off. However, I attended public school all the way up until 8th grade. So the entire time I was filming Dance Moms, I was attending public school, which is a lot. Mondays, we had the day off. So I would go to school and then I would go to dance class. And we weren't allowed to skip because then we would get in trouble and then I would probably be on the bottom of the pyramid. Although, let's face it, I was probably on the bottom of the pyramid anyway. Tuesday, I would go to school and then I would go to set and we would film pyramid. Like I said, it took about 2-3 hours. And then after that, we would start learning our number, but really Gianna would just give us like an 8 count to rehearse while Abby talked to the moms or talked about whatever needed to be discussed that week. Then we would have to go down to interviews, and when we filmed an interview, we were always talking about the previous week in the interview. Say I had a solo the previous week, then that day on Tuesday I would talk about how my solo was. I would talk about the whole week leading up to the competition and then how the competition went, how I felt about what score I got, things like that. But you also have to remember we had to do hair and makeup, and then I normally have to do school. And then Wednesdays I would go to school and then I'd go to the studio, we'd film, we'd learn most of our group number, we'd film some more, and then on Thursdays whoever had a solo, duet, or trio that week would normally get out of school early and go to the studio and learn the number, and then we would begin filming. So then we would finish up the group number on camera and then we would start the solos, duets, and trios on camera. Then we would rehearse, then we'd clean the group number and hopefully finish the solos, duets, and trios that same day. Never went to school on Fridays. We went to school 4 days a week. Sometimes we would have rehearsal in the morning, sometimes we wouldn't. Then we would get on the bus, then we'd drive to the competition, then we'd arrive at the location. The moms normally went out to dinner. The girls didn't really go out to dinner because our parents wanted us to rest and relax and prepare for the next day. The next morning, on Saturdays, we would normally get up pretty early depending on the competition. The moms would do their hair and makeup and get ready. The girls normally just put on like tracksuits or whatever, and we do like a little bit of hair and makeup, but not really, only so we looked presentable. Then we would go to the competition, we would do our hair and our makeup. Whoever had solos, duets, or trios would get ready first. Then we would hit a few beats. We'd normally leave the room and go practice outside. The moms would talk about what they needed to talk about. Some sort of fight would happen, and then we would go perform our solos, duets, or trios. We'd come back to the dressing room. We'd break for lunch. We would have lunch. Then we would come back, start warming up and rehearsing our group number. We'd get ready for our group number, compete. Then it was awards. Then we would go back to the dressing room. We would wrap it up. Then the girls would leave the room. The moms would wrap up the whole scene for the day, which normally ended in a fight. And we would go back to the hotel, and I'll leave the rest of Saturday night to the next act because that's something you guys don't know. And Sunday was pretty much our only day off, but we always had to travel home. We wouldn't get home until a little later. I'd probably have to finish homework and then get ready for the next week. It was a very grueling schedule. I don't know the exact number of episodes in each season, but I think it was about 22, let's say. So I did that for 22 weeks a year. Okay, so fact number 4. Normally after we finished competition and we would go back to the hotel, depending on where we were, what there was to do, how early we finished, we would either go to like the mall or the movie, or we'd go to a hotel room. Let's say we decided to go to my hotel room. My mom would get the boot. She would normally go sleep in Kelly's room. Then all the girls and I would sleep in my room. We would film video stars, we would watch movies, we would give each other massages, crazy makeup tutorials. I remember one time we went to like this mall and we went with our security guard and Gianna and we just shopped all night. I remember going to Build-A-Bear or something, and then we went back to the hotel and had a sleepover. I remember going to the girls' room and we would order room service and we would always do massages. We'd really do anything. We were just being kids. That was like our one night of the week that we really got to be kids. Although I will say sometimes we would have sleepovers on Thursday nights to Friday because we did have to wake up early, but we could always sleep on the bus. We didn't have school the next morning. So fact number 5. When we weren't in Pittsburgh, of course we wouldn't always take the bus. We would only take the bus when we were going to like a far location, if it was like more than 2 hours or whatever. But when we got to these locations, we needed some sort of mode of transportation to get to the competition, to get back to the hotel, to go to the mall or go to the movie or go to dinner. Do you want to know what that transportation was? It was a 15-passenger white van. Every location. Even when we spent like summers in Los Angeles, that's like kind of embarrassing and kind of scary. Like anytime I see a 15-passenger van, it always reminds me of like a kidnapping van. But now anytime I see a 15-passenger van, I'm just reminded of my Dance Mom days and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna look away now. It was great. Loved it. So fact number 6. One Halloween, we were getting back really late and we didn't think we would have time to trick or treat, and we were just pulling into the parking lot like right as trick or treating was starting, and we were like, oh my god, we can go, what do we do? We had no time to go get costumes, we had no time to plan anything, so we kind of just winged it. Do you remember the pink velvet tracksuit where like we had different options of like the short sleeve and then the long sleeve? Our names were on the back and they were rhinestoned, and we switched them around. I don't even remember who I had, but let's just say I had Brooke. I don't know, everyone switched and we were each other for Dance Moms. The best part about this story is I'm pretty sure for some reason we had hair and makeup done, so we really looked like the girls from Dance Moms, and that's how we spent a Halloween. Fact number 7. So our base camp was actually a doctor's office. Little known fact. There was my old studio, and then there was like a road, and then there was a doctor's office. I don't know if they didn't use the top part or what, but we ended up renting it out, and that served as our base camp. So that's where the tutoring room was, that's where a lot of the crew's offices were, that's where the interview rooms were, that's where we had lunch all the time. It served as like I said, our base camp. So now we're getting into some of the fun, juicy stuff. This has to stay between you and I. Can't go anywhere else. Fact number 8. I actually don't think anyone knows this, and I might take this out of the video because I might get sued for saying it. I don't think so, but we'll see. The beginning of season 4, I got kicked out of the dance studio. I was still on the show, and my former dance teacher couldn't kick me off of the show because she didn't have that power or the ability, but I got kicked out of the studio because to be a part of her studio, you had to sign a contract. A few of the main reasons my mom wouldn't sign was because it said stuff like you couldn't gain or lose 5 to 10 pounds, something like that. You couldn't do anything to your hair, you couldn't do anything to like piercings, no tattoos, which of course, flipping 12 years old, I'm not doing any of that. I don't know if I would say I got kicked out more than I chose to leave because I knew what would happen if I didn't sign the contract, but I wasn't willing to agree to all of those terms, and she also wanted 10% of the money I made, and I wasn't willing to agree to that. That's when the real issue started happening, and it became really awkward between some of my old dance friends that weren't on the show, my old dance teachers, and I. And season 4 was probably the hardest season for me to go through. Fact number 9. Now this is when it gets really serious. So why I left Dance Moms. I think this might be well known at this point, but I mean, I'm filming a 10 unknown Dance Moms facts video, so I might as well just put it in here and just clear the confusion up, if there was any confusion. The reason I left Dance Moms, oh, my heart just started racing. The reason I left Dance Moms was because my former dance teacher made fun of a medical condition I have, and if you watched a video that I released on my YouTube a couple of years ago, I have a condition called silent sinus syndrome. I'll link the video down below if you guys want to watch it because it just explains everything and I don't need to go through it again. Some might say that it wasn't that serious what she said, which I would disagree. And I mean, if you know anything about Dance Moms, you probably know that I was my former dance teacher's least favorite student. She was really rough on me that year. We were at nationals. My mom was actually sticking up for one of my friends that I used to dance with. My dance teacher decided to start yelling at my mom about me. We were in the back room and we weren't supposed to be there, but we heard everything that was said. The crew that took care of the girls, they would always like separate us from that, which was great. But I just happened to be listening and I heard everything she said, and they didn't show it on Dance Moms, and it's not really said a lot, but she made fun of me. As much respect as I have for her as a dance teacher and as a person, and of course with everything she's going through right now, what she said was horrible. Fact number 10, a fun one. This is kind of a silly one, but I figured it might be kind of fun to include in the video because I don't think anyone really knows this. So we would learn the solos, duets, or trios on Thursdays, and it got to the point where we would have to start and finish the solos on Thursdays. People normally work on dances for like 6 months before they compete them. They work on solos for like weeks, making them perfect. My record solo time was about maybe 30 minutes. That's just wild to me. It's crazy. I don't know how I ever did that. Actually, one time, Brooke learned a solo on the bus on the way to the competition. So on Friday, she like learned a little bit, and on the bus to the competition, she was rehearsing it. She didn't even have time to do it full out before she competed it. That is wild. She learned a solo on a bus and didn't even do it once full out before competing. That's insane. And I'm sure she still did amazing. That's one thing I will say is I can pick up a combo or a dance like that now. It was what it was. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you did. In the comment section down below, tell me if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, maybe if you want to see a part 2, if I can come up with any more facts. I'm sure I can. I will see you next week. I have a very fun video planned for next week. It's a vlog and I haven't done one in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too, and I'll see you then. Love you all. Bye.